Chapter 5. I cannot stand art sometimes, but they know best, allegedly. So I'm going to fall back like they said. Hmm. Ah, a whisper, you say, chimed the unfamiliar voice. Zem was too flabbergasted to even move. He froze with excitement, nervousness, and disbelief. At least this time, art wasn't involved. Queen Shanica of the Dragonlands. A smile formed as I walked towards her. How you doing, friend? I'm doing good, friend. She mirrored my actions as we embraced each other like lifelong sisters. There's a special someone I want you to meet. I whispered in her ears as she let go. Who's that? Come. She followed me over to Zem, who was still frozen with every emotion you can think of. Zem, this is Queen Shanica of the Dragonlands. Queen Shanica, I would love for you to meet Zempyro, my apprentice. I smirked towards her. Queen Shanika's smile fell harder than a dragon who was hit by an arrow. She stared at me with more disbelief than Art did moments prior. Did you just say Zempyro? The words fought to leave her mouth only to come out in a whisper. Sure did. You mean? Yup. I told you I know everything that goes on in my kingdom and yours. I smiled. She couldn't hold herself as she began to hold Zem for dear life. Zem was startled as the queen of the Dragonlands hugged him. He couldn't believe it until he hugged her back. Nika? I'm sorry. Her hug fell into his hands, intertwined with his. I am Queen Shanica of the Dragonlands. It is nice to meet you. Zem was too shook to respond. Zempyro, say something, I demanded. I love you. Queen Shanica blew back at the response. I mean, I look up to you. I love you. I idolize you. I mean, ever since I was younger, and Didi introduced me to dragonology. You were the leading scholar. I always wanted to meet you. Be you. Even though I'm the one that taught him all this stuff and gave him the books. I had to interrupt proudly. Zem smirked at me. Yes, and I'm grateful, but it is an honor to be in your presence. I feel like I know you. I know that sounds weird. Queen Shanika twinkled her eye. No, not at all. I'm honored that you found comfort and solemn in my work. I'm honored. Queen Shanika was taken back by the compliments. She was truly a scholar in dragonology, but sometimes she forgot and needed to be reminded of this. She tilted her head and just gazed at him, then turned to me. I looked back at her and smiled. I knew what she was thinking. Didi, I know Zempyro, but please, call me Zem, Zem interrupted. Queen Shanika's happiness was displayed perfectly on her face. Didi, I know Zem was scheduled to do a presentation to become the Dragon Master of Axum. My smile slowly began to creep on my face as she turned to me. But I was wondering if he could come to the Dragonlands and train to be our Dragon Master. Zem began to shake his head and catch his breath. He could not believe this was happening. This was a literal genie. Something you wish from a DJ. Those are genies. He was lost for words. I'm sorry, what? She faced him, stared directly in his eyes. Zem, would you like to come to the Dragonlands and become my apprentice to eventually become the Dragon Master?